next video I want to watch is actually an interesting one. The name of the video is Why I Am Afraid for the NBA and Basketball by Basketball Time Machine. One of my favorite old heads on YouTube. Let's see why he's afraid of NBA basketball. Look at the thumbnail. Bye-bye game that I loved. What happened to the game I loved type shit.
So where do we start? Now, for those of you who don't know, I was a huge NBA fan, I think, since I was like 6 years old. So we're talking like since 1989, basically. And to me, NBA basketball was everything. Like, not only did I watch every single game that I came across, I had like every VHS tape of not only Michael Jordan airtime and NBA superstars and the championship videos of each team, and so to speak. I literally inhaled NBA basketball. Obviously, I also played myself. I was one of the few kids back in the days in Germany who basically practiced every single day, and while most kids would practice for 2 hours, like 2 or 3 weeks, 3 days a week, I would literally practice for 4 hours every single day. Not because I had to, but I was just so in love with the game and I just could not get enough. Like, if it was up to me, I would have, I don't know, dropped out of school and played 24/7. But that's not what I'm saying. I just want to give you some of my background. And you know, watching NBA basketball for so many years, I often
basketball is my favorite sport.
Or those saying like, oh yeah, this is the evolution of basketball. And the one thing that always came to mind to me is, does evolution automatically mean better? Like, just because something changes into a certain direction, does it automatically mean that things nowadays are better than they were back in the days? And don't get me wrong, especially for younger folks who would consider somebody like me, naturally, to be an old guy hating on new stuff. I am aware of the fact that many things in today's world have improved.
Right.
I mean, technology, many things are better than what we had back in the 80s and the 90s. And there are certain aspects of today's NBA player that are definitely better. I think personally, not only that players today are better shooters, but I think also from the athleticism, players are way more advanced than they were back in the days. Like, the average NBA player is way more physically, or let's say athletically.
Was that Max Strus? What the fuck?
Physically, or let's say athletically advanced than players in the 80s and 90s. So obviously there are things that are better in today's game. But there are certain things that I think, even though people call it evolution, I think that they not only hurt NBA basketball, but I think that the impact, the overall impact on basketball is devastating. Now, the first player I want to talk about is Steph Curry. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a phenomenal player, and I actually like him. He seems to be a good guy. I like the family values. I already
not the Stephen A, chat. Not the Stephen A. No. He's a great guy, great family man. I love his values. He's a really good guy. Don't get me wrong. Nah, W preface.
Liked his dad, Del Curry, who played for the Charlotte Hornets and Toronto Raptors back in the days. And I think it's amazing what Steph can do. But, and it's not even...
Here we go, chat. Here we go. Sage is Stephen A. So this guy is... What does it say? I can't fucking read chat. I can't read chat. Fuck.
His fault, but as we all know, when you have superstar players, they have a heavy influence of the younger players. People try to imitate players. Like, for example, I used to copy Michael Jordan like crazy. Obviously, I was never that good, but I would copy his moves. But with him, it helped me to get my fundamentals on point, because I always realized, okay, Michael Jordan is not only this high-flying guy who can do this acrobatic stuff, but he had a great mid-range game. Defensively, he was always well-positioned in those things. So I try to copy that too. But with Steph Curry, you have millions of kids and younger players and college players who want to shoot from all over the place. And to me, my question is, okay, do the young ones realize that you have to be that good to actually be an effective player on court? Like, you actually harm your team if you shoot from all over the place and you don't make those shots? This is again then when coaching comes into place. It's the coach's responsibility to teach the young ones, to tell them like, hey, this is not good, and so on. But apparently that doesn't happen, because if I take a look, and this is what's really hurting me, like I'm on Instagram, and Instagram, because the algorithm, shows me all kind of college stuff, young ones playing, and so to speak, and I see clips of games which basically destroy my basketball heart. Like if I see how young players play, it's all about shooting from everywhere. And the unfortunate thing is, it's not just a handful of players. It's like you have like almost the entire team playing the same way. And to me, already really hurting
not
the
him playing
game
the
for
same
the
clip
past
again.
10 years. Especially when you take a look at the NBA teams that copied the style of the Golden State Warriors. And Charles Barkley.
So this is my thing, and I don't necessarily think he's saying it. I feel like the 3-point shooting thing from younger players is such a kill or be killed type of thing. Like, if this is where the game is heading, and this is what statistically, analytically wins games, is to shoot more threes. As a coach of the team, as a player for the team who's trying to win the game, why would I not do what's analytically the best thing to do for my team? If I'm trying to get to the NBA, and I know for a fact the NBA values shooting, why would I not do those things? You see what I'm saying? Your playback stream started, by the way. Just let it run. Just let it run. It should be good. We'll be doing that too. I don't know. Like, I don't blame players. Now, again, I'm not saying he is blaming players, but I just don't blame players for adapting with times if this is where the game is heading.
Said something very smart, like, how dumb must teams be to copy the style of the Golden State Warriors, a team that back then had 3 of the best shooters of all time? Like, how can you copy that? It's mind-boggling. But even NBA players and NBA teams and NBA coaches don't realize that, which is, I don't know, it's kind of scary. So how can you expect lower college teams and high school teams and AAU teams and, so to speak, basketball clubs to not fall for the same trap if even NBA teams do it? I don't know. Then we have another thing, which,
because I don't think it's a trap. I don't think it's a trap, and I don't know. I think he's gassing how similar coaches like run their teams. There's certain things that are similar nowadays because of how the game has evolved, but nah, I think because of the personnel that teams got now, why not shoot the ball? I don't know. I just don't think this is such a big point. Like, the way the Golden State Warriors ran their offense was through a lot of passing. That was the one thing that popped off my screen when I was watching the Warriors back in the day, was the crazy ball movement that they had, the crazy off ball movement that they had, and the crazy flow of the offense. I don't know why trying to copy that is such a bad thing. But I feel it though. I feel it. This is just, it isn't what he grew up on. He grew up in the 90s, the slowest paced era in NBA history. A lot of isolation ball. I've watched a 90s game recently. It's actually on the channel. A lot of post-ups, and that's just not where the game is right now. But I would even argue that the way they were playing ball in the 90s and in the 2000s is actually the anomaly. Because, Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, the 60s was a very high-paced style of play, very up-and-down style of play. I've watched the 60s game before. They be chucking that shit. They be chucking that shit. The 70s, I believe, is roughly around the same thing. The 80s, up and down. Showtime. Even the Celtics were going up and down the court. 2010s, obviously, same thing. 2020, same thing. So if you actually look historically, The 90s and the 2000s was actually the anomaly in how basketball was played.
Also is really making me afraid of basketball's future. If you take a look at NBA teams and NBA players nowadays, you have the feeling that most players really play the same way. Like, to me, when I see an NBA game, I have the feeling that I have 5 of the identical players on court. Now, obviously, there's a slight difference. The one player might have a better ball handling skill, and the other player might have a little bit of that.
Bro, we're going on playback after this video, man. God damn.
They all play the same way. And to me, the beauty of basketball, to me, was always, I loved it, that you have 5 players on court with different skill sets, with all different jobs. And that was the beauty to me.
Oh yeah, he gonna hate the future of the he gonna hate the future of the game. Oh my God.
Like, you have to contribute your skill sets and the difference in your playing style to come together as one to be effective as a team. That to me was the beauty of the game. And that's getting more and more lost. Like, if you see players like Joel Embiid, you know, who obviously could be dominating in the post.
The lip smacking is crazy.
Who apparently prefers to shoot threes just like all the other players. It's taken away.
Why is he showing DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard hitting threes, dog?
So much of the beauty of the game. And they don't even realize it. They probably also don't care. But to me, and I'm pretty sure to many, many fans who love the beauty of the game and who know how special the game can be, this really hurts.
Bro, just watch college basketball. Holy shit. Just watch college basketball. If you want role players to be playing their role so bad, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, watch the WNBA. Watch the WNBA. Watch college hoops. What you're talking about is still prevalent in those fields. And if that's still not enough, bro, go outside and play basketball yourself. Go to the Y. Go to your LA Fitness and play basketball. Because I promise you, all the dudes in pickup ball know for a fact they're not Steph Curry. You're always gonna see one delusional guy. But in typical pickup basketball, I think people realize what their strengths and weaknesses are. They know what they can and can't do. So if you're really looking for that type of shit, just play basketball in real life. Just play basketball in real life.
Also, if you take a look at today's players, yes, as I said in the beginning of the video, they might jump higher, they're more athletic, but many qualities of the game get lost. If you take a look, and I mentioned that countless times, if you take a look at the post game is completely vanishing. The mid-range game is completely vanishing. Basketball IQ to me is also vanishing. Why? Like, to me, strategy is really getting lost.
You shoot like Steph in pickup, you won't get picked up again. Type shit. Like, if you actually shoot the shots that Steph Curry takes, but you keep missing, bro, I'm not picking you up, bro. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you.
Like, for example, when I grew up, I was always taught that if you have a player on the opposing team who has, for example, 4 fouls, you attack him, for example. Your strategy is to always exploit the weakness or the critical situation of your opponent.
They still do.
I don't see that in today's game anymore. What I see is isolation basketball. Dribble, 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 shooting from all over.
Now the way James Harden was looking at a thinking basketball video, maybe not. But not exploiting, all right, nah, that's crazy.
The court, like,
not exploiting
the
weaknesses. Come on,
the game are completely getting lost. And why am I worried about this? I mean, hey, I'm an old FUCK. Now, I know that my time is up, but I have a little son, and of course, I hope that he will also start playing basketball when he's like 6 or so. And I want him to see the pureness of the game, which I'm 100% sure he will not discover that because it will be long gone. And another thing, and I know it's getting...
Bro, that motherfucker is not gonna give a fuck, dog. He's gonna be watching Ja Morant. He is gonna be watching Chet Holmgren. He is just gonna be watching Victor Wembanyama, Cooper Flag. These are the dudes that he's gonna look up to. And these are the dudes... And shout out to Chet for the 2 months.
2 months to win.
He's gonna be keep on watching LaMelo, And these are going to be the dudes that he looks up to. And I guess that is his point. Hey, it's going to be unavoidable. He is not going to learn the game the right way. So I get it from that front. But I'm telling you, him missing out on the purity of the game, I don't think he's going to matter. I don't think that's going to matter, dog. I don't think that's going to matter. I think your son will enjoy the game just as much. And I think the game is fine. Now, the game is not perfect. And I will say to his credit, I don't want to shit on him too much. Sometimes I do be watching games and like, yo, every possession is a 3. Dead ass. Like, I'll give him that credit. Sometimes it does get OD. Bro, attack the paint. You taking a 3 again, brick. Taking a 3 again, brick. Taking a 3 again, brick. But I don't know. I'm just on some, and I guess that's what he's doing. He's not hating the player. He's hating the game. So I don't know. I guess he's just standing on business.
Really deep into the conversation, but you remember, like in the 90s and the 80s, you always had so many veterans on the team, and the job of the veterans was obviously they weren't as fresh with their body, but they had experience to teach, which is so important. The guidance of an older player. And you have to understand that nowadays, the veterans that you have in today's NBA, those are those players who already adapted the wrong mindset, the wrong teachings of the game, which means that they will pass it on to the next generation. So, which also means that the real wisdom of the game, the most important information about the game won't be passed on by the veterans now. And it will continue and continue and continue. To me, I believe, and I already know that today's basketball is something completely different than what we grew up on. But if I envision basketball in the next 10 to 20 years, I'm really, really afraid that I not only will lose complete interest in the game, but I'm afraid for all the people that don't know what basketball used to be about and what basketball could be.
Yeah, he's just getting old, buddy. It is fine. Because people said the same thing about 2010s basketball, said the same thing about 2000s basketball. There's clips of Wilt shitting on Hakeem and Michael Jordan. So even what you grew up on, the old heads didn't like. What you grew up on actually wasn't pure basketball when you grew up on it. Pure basketball back in the day was straight big men. Straight Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell. And when Jordan was taken onto the scene, and Jordan became the most influential player in the game, and everyone looked up to Michael Jordan, what you were doing was the 90s version of what kids are doing now with Steph Curry. That's what it was. Because even in the 90s game, and we said it in chat, it was still a big man's game. But the thing that actually made Jordan stand out so much was he was the most dominant wing player to ever exist, especially at that time. So when people wanted to be like Mike and be flashy with the ball, all that shit, that wasn't fundamental. That wasn't. So, hey, man, what goes around comes around. It is what it is. I get where he's coming from. What happened to the game I love, and it's just not the game that you love, and it's cool. Shout out to BTM for the video, though. Deadass, I may disagree with a lot of his takes, but I respect everyone's perspective. It's interesting to see everyone's perspective. I may troll or disagree, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.